Showtime! The Capital G Show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here, doing another episode of Hidden Gems. Today's Hidden Gem is Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell. It's a counter trap, and just on a random side note, I don't know why, but I've always loved counter traps. It might be because the first Yu-Gi-Oh card I ever got was Solemn Judgment out of Metal Raiders, or because when I was, at the beginning stages of this game, I used to always play Burn in tournaments, and I'd give my opponent Lava Golem, and then they'd be like Harpy's Feather Duster, and I'd chain Judgment of Anubis, discard Sinister Serpent, and blow up Lava Golem. They'd take like 4,000 damage that turn, so yeah, I've always loved counter traps. Alright, so let's go over the effect for those of you guys who don't know it. You discard one spell card, that's a cost, negate the activation and effect of a spell card and destroy it. Your opponent cannot activate spell cards with the same name during the rest of this duel. So it's actually pretty powerful, but it does have a hefty cost. So to maximize the potential and really the effectiveness of Forbidden Spell, you're going to have to side deck this card in against decks that rely on running 3 copies in the main deck of some of their most important spell cards. Now, I thought about that and I was like, that seems really obscure. But when you really look around the format, no, we're not even reaching here. You can find a lot of decks that have to do that. The 3 main decks that I really came to the conclusion that this card is pretty good against: Prophecy, Dark World, and Fire Fist. Let's break them down individually. So let's say we're playing against Fire Fist. We're going to go into this matchup targeting 2 cards primarily: Fire Formation Tenki and Fire Formation Tensu. If things go according to plan and we happen to hit the Tenki early, in my opinion, we've just changed the entire landscape of the duel. You have to look at the fact that the Fire Fist player's deck is going to be a lot slower. They don't have the ability to tutor any of their monsters whenever they want to anymore. They lose their effectiveness of potentially popping cards with Baron Gorilla. The deck also has a relatively low monster count, so if we can control their normal summon through removal, they're going to have a really tough time, as they don't have a lot of monsters to draw into, and they don't really run a lot of revival cards. So, hitting those 2 cards really hurts that deck. Forbidden Spell is also fantastic in the Dark World matchup. Obviously, you're looking at cards like Dark World Dealings, Gate to the Dark World, and Drag Down into the Grave. The interesting thing about Dark World and what makes this card so solid against it is Dark World players will generally side deck out Speed for spell and trap removal. Obviously, they're wanting to take a preemptive strike against cards like Macrocosmos, Defissure, Soul Drain, and Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. So the deck in games 2 and 3 is already inherently slower. But if you can add on top hitting one of their most powerful cards like Dealings, Gates, or Drag Down, then not only are you taking away one of their discard outlets, you're taking away one of their draw cards as well. So you're bringing the deck basically to a screeching halt. And it's not like the deck has a lot of monster discard outlets other than Fabled Raven and Trance Archfiend. I mean, I don't really know that any other exists because nobody plays Morphin Jar anymore. So you can easily put them in a position where they just have a handful of Dark World monsters, and that's not going to do anything. Against Prophecy, this card is obviously super effective because the entire deck is flooded with spells, so you're never going to have to wait more than like 10 seconds to be able to activate this card. You can go into this match pretty much eyes wide open. Cards that I would probably want to hit are Spellbook Tower, Spellbook of Life, Spellbook Judgment Day, and then obviously the main card would be Spellbook of Secrets, because that's the one card that gets the deck rolling. It's the card that stacks up spell cards for Spellbook Judgment Day. So if you can hit that, obviously you're in a very good position. One of the things that I really like about Curse of the Forbidden Seal is that it's one of the only cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that can actually work over the entire span of a duel. If you hit a power card in one of these decks in game 2, you don't have to worry about that card for the rest of the entire duel. That is just such a feeling of relief. And I know that the counter argument obviously is, well, Capital G in game 3, they can obviously just side deck those cards out, but you don't understand the damage has already been done. If you think that you're going to be able to side deck cards in that are going to replace core cards like Dark World Dealings or, Gates of the Dark World, like, think again, because it's not going to happen. So I think Forbidden Spell is really legit this format. It works against a multitude of decks. People can side deck out cards, but the cards that they side in are not going to replace the core cards. And I mean, once you've resolved it, the damage has already been done. You can make your opponent potentially have dead draws, and it works over the span of an entire duel. So, I think that this card is really good. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe there's a deck that I missed that it can be really solid against. Click that like button if you enjoyed the video. It helps me spread the word to people who might not have seen the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Maybe this is the video that did it for you. Thank you guys for watching and have a nice day. Oh, and before I forget, guys, I just got a custom banner made on my main channel, so why don't you guys go check that out? I think it looks really awesome. It only took me 3.5 years to finally get a banner. I know, right? I've been partnered for like over 2 years and I'm just getting one. But anyways, I think it looks pretty cool. Why don't you guys tell me what you think of it in the comment section below. Subscribing makes life happy.